Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carrie McKay, and I'm the manager of the undergraduate and graduate nursing programs. I wanted to let you know that we are recording today's session, and you will receive a link to the recording in the next few days. Thank you for joining us today for this information session on the Faculty of Nursing graduate programs. Dr. King-Shier will provide an overview of the graduate programs, and there will be an opportunity for questions at the end. Please use the Q&A functionality as you have a question rather than the chat for questions. And with that, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. King-Shier, the Associate Dean of Graduate Programs.
Well, hello. I am so glad you are all here. We're really excited here at the University of Calgary Faculty of Nursing because we have some new programs in place, and I'm going to tell you about them today if I can get my screen to share, which I'm going to do right now. There we go. So welcome. And we're not getting any movement here. I don't know what that's about. Okay. So just by way of background, the course-based master's program was established in 1981, but it didn't look like it does now back then. So they started just with the course-based masters. The PhD program that we have was established in 1999. And then what you're going to hear more about today, and what really excites us, is the graduate certificates, and the laddered certificate to the Master of Nursing pathway was established in 2019, and it's just continuing to grow. We now have more than 250 graduate students. We also have the new doctorate of nursing coming in the next year and a half. And our students have been increasingly successful in acquiring competitive funding. And that's mainly for our thesis students, so our Master of Nursing thesis students and our PhD students. So we have a number of programs in the graduate umbrella in the Faculty of Nursing. We have the graduate certificates. We have the Master of Nursing course-based. We have the Master of Nursing NP program, which is currently on hold. We have the Master of Nursing /MBA program, Master of Nursing thesis, and we also have the PhD and the Doctorate of Nursing that we're hoping that it will start in January of 2023, but we just have our fingers crossed on that one yet. But today, what I'm going to talk about is the graduate certificates, the MN course-based, MN-MBA, and MN thesis. We'll focus on that. I have a few slides for the PhD if there are any questions about that. So our graduate certificates, starting with them, we have graduate certificates that are in Advanced Nursing Practice 1 and Advanced Nursing Practice 2. The graduate certificates are online learning only. So that means that there is some synchronous learning and some asynchronous learning. So basically what happens is there's a residency day or a few where students get together with their course professor online, and then they go away and do their work, and then we'll come back again at different points across the semester. Each of the certificates has 4 courses, and one course is taken over the fall, another one in the winter, another one in the spring and summer semester, and another one in the summer semesters. Students can take one certificate and of their choice and be happy and walk away, or you can take more. And these certificates are made for working professionals. So we're very much aligned and in tune with the fact that you're working shift work, that you're with families, that there are lots of other things going on in your lives. So really the tagline in this is work, play, and go to school. currently, the topics for the graduate certificates are contemporary topics in aging, addiction and mental health, innovations in teaching and learning, leadership for health system transformation, and healthcare innovation and design. Healthcare innovation and design was just added this year, and we have 2 more that we hope will be available by September. One is oncology nursing, and the other is palliative and end-of-life care. So the only way now to a course-based Master of Nursing degree is through the laddered certificate pathway. So it's a 3-year journey. Basically, there's one certificate, one advanced nursing practice certificate, then another advanced nursing practice certificate, and then students apply to enter what is a 3rd year, but earn a Master of Nursing degree by completing another 4 courses. So you can see at this bottom here, we really are interested in inviting people from other disciplines to join us in these certificates, and they sometimes do. But only registered nurses and registered psychiatric nurses, for the most part, will be able to apply for that 3rd additional year to earn a Master of Nursing degree. Now, that Master of Nursing program will be offered in an identical fashion to the laddered certificates. So that means that one course is taken in fall, another one in winter, another one in spring, another one in summer, and then one has earned a course-based master's degree in 3 years in a very structured kind of way. So the 4 courses that people will take when they're in that 3rd realm, that 3rd year, is qualitative health research, a mixed course, quantitative health research and statistics, cultivating personal leadership for those who have not taken the certificate in leadership for healthcare transformation. And if they have taken that certificate, they'll be taking a course called Implementation Science. And then at the end, all students will take a course called Writing Proposals for the Nursing Profession. These courses, again, will be offered asynchronously and synchronously. Now we're moving on to the thesis program now from the course-based program. So a thesis program is a little bit different. Most courses will be offered synchronously and asynchronously online. We're moving into pretty much everything being online. The courses that students will take is theoretical knowledge and advanced nursing practice, qualitative health research, quantitative health research and statistics, cultivating personal leadership, and writing proposals for the nursing profession. The reason why people that are coming into the thesis program or to the direct entry route into the MN-MBA is to ensure that they do have that professional practice course that people in the course-based program will have had. There are potential electives that students may take. One is definitely in hermeneutics, another in advanced statistics, and we're looking at developing a course for systematic reviews for people who are in the thesis program. I'm just going to give you some examples of what a thesis topic might look like. Both of these students worked with me. Christy Cherteau examined how bone marrow transplant patients reintegrate sexual relationships into their lives. And she undertook a traditional thesis. And the traditional thesis is basically the book with a number of chapters in it. And the book isn't necessarily big or very small, but basically there's an introductory chapter, a literature review, a methods chapter, a findings chapter, and then a conclusions chapter. Basically a series of major papers, if you will. And then Kathy Hildebrand examined women's use of wearable technology and the association with their cardiovascular risk scores. And she undertook something called a manuscript-based thesis. So that's a brief introduction, a manuscript ready for publication. And for hers, it was a literature review. And then another small chapter just integrating the first paper with then another chapter, which was the paper that included the methods and so on for her and the results for her publication, and then finally a concluding chapter. The benefit to Kathy's approach was that she had 2 papers already written that she published in reputable journals. Christy waited until after her program was done, and then she moved forward and wrote her paper and had it published in a very reputable journal as well. So basically for the thesis students, we look at some milestones, and as you're entering the program, we encourage students to begin to think about what kind of topic that they'd be interested in pursuing for their research. Within a few months, 6 months or so, all master's thesis students have chosen their research interest, and they have a supervisory committee established. So this is a journey that thesis students take along with a very supportive committee, a supervisor and 2 other committee members. What we really encourage our students to do is, with their research question in mind, be thinking all the time about what their assignments are for their courses so that they can continually build and develop how they want to think about their research question. The thesis students develop their proposal by the end of year 1 and into year 1. And then the coursework is completed by the beginning of year 2. The thesis students look at their ethics applications, et cetera, et cetera. And then in about 2.5 years in this new model that we have, we hope that our students will be exiting with their thesis completed. MN thesis students have up to 4 years to complete their program, though. And to get into this program and actually to get into that 3rd year that I was talking about a few minutes ago, it's normally a 4-year baccalaureate degree in nursing or in psychiatric nursing from a recognized institution. We also want to see 1 undergraduate course in statistics with a minimum of a C grade. We also like to see a minimum GPA of 3, and priority is given to people from Alberta, then people to Canada, then people from international locations, and applicants who hold baccalaureate degrees in some other profession their applications are examined on a case-by-case basis. I'm not aware in the last many years that we've had a non-nurse enter a master's program. We definitely have non-nurses in our PhD program, though. Now we have an MN-MBA program. Basically, what students do will come into that year of coursework that I described earlier, and then they move on to the MBA courses that take a little bit longer. Essentially, there's 2 consecutive degrees, not concurrent, consecutive. That means that the MN courses are taken first, then the MBA courses are taken, and it's generally a little bit more than 3 years of study. In order to enter, applicants must satisfy the requirements for both the Faculty of Nursing and the Haskins School of Business. One of the things we're finding right now that students are asking about is that actually the Haskins School of Business only offers in-person instruction. So there isn't that opportunity for a little bit more flexibility as we're rolling into our master's program now. So it's a very high level overview that I've given you. I really want to thank you for considering graduate education at the Faculty of Nursing at the University of Calgary. And we have Carrie McKay here, who's our Manager of Undergraduate and Graduate Programs. Chen-Wei Lian is also here, who is our super duper student advisor. And I'm happy to answer any questions as well.
So Kathy, we have 2 questions in the Q&A. Are you able to answer those
Yeah,
two?
I'll get those up. As a nurse interested in health and nursing informatics, would the Healthcare Innovation and Design Certificate be helpful? I would say absolutely yes. And I would also suggest that if you're interested in pursuing a master's degree and thinking about something potentially after that, the Doctor of Nursing program that we're developing will be focused strictly on people who are in leadership positions in healthcare and other related organizations. So I'm just going to plant a seed there for you as well. There's someone, okay, here we go. If you have a lower average than 3 GPA, is there still an opportunity to apply for your master's? We do have the capacity to invite students in who have a GPA that's lower than 3.0. We are entering some in certainly to the certificate program, and people sometimes like it that way, so they can sort of get a taste of graduate studies and see and feel how they might do in it. But we've also admitted students into the thesis program that have a little less than a 3.0 GPA. Chen-Wei, did you want to add anything to that at all?
So for that one, we need to get a special permission from the Associate Dean, Dr. King-Shier, and also FGS to approve the special admission. So we will take care of that. You can feel free to just submit your applications, and we will look into your application as a full, and then we will evaluate whether we can submit your application.
So as Chen-Wei is saying, this isn't a decision that's made in our office. It has to go up to the Faculty of Graduate Studies for final approval. It's not really uncommon for people to have a little lower GPA in their undergrad and then come in and just thrive in grad. So we all know that and would welcome that application. The next question is, I'm really interested in the laddered program. The first certificate I would like to get is in palliative end-of-life care. No, I don't think you should wait until palliative is approved, because in order to pursue the laddered program, you absolutely need to have 2 certificates. So I'd encourage you to apply, make palliative and end-of-life care one of the options. Speak with Chen-Wei so she knows what your desire is. And for some reason, if we don't have it going in September, we can still have you enter, take a certificate, and then we can put you first on the list or up high on the list for when palliative care and end-of-life care is approved, which would be the following year. So for someone who is interested in eventually working in academia, what sort of stream would be the most beneficial? There's kind of 2 answers to that. My preference would be to see people enter the thesis program. There is an expectation of all faculty members in the professoriate to engage in research. So to have that experience under your belt is really important. Now, as I'm speaking, maybe you're thinking about working in academia as an instructor and not someone in the professoriate. And in that case, certainly the course-based would you might thrive in that, because there is a certificate in teaching and learning. So depending on the stream you intend to be in, whether it's the professoriate or an instructor rank, and instructors are not expected to engage in programs of research the way the professoriate are, you can adjust your path accordingly. Another one. I'm wanting to focus my studies in perinatal mental health, particularly with the intention to open a private practice. Oh, wow. Is it possible to ladder with the psychology department? Think that is a little bit more complicated kind of question, actually. I'm not aware of what is available through psychology in terms of laddered pathway. And we don't have any agreements on this at the moment. The thing is, this is still a really new thing for all of us right now. If you were really interested in this, we have some fine experts in perinatal mental health in our faculty that you may want to enter the thesis program and link with them. And then in that case, you could take electives that might better suit your needs. In other faculties. The electives that, if you decide you need them or want them, that you take can be taken in any other faculty in the university. When do you expect to see the NP program back and accepting applications? I do not know for sure. Right now, we have approval to have a 3-year pause on admissions, so that this is our first year, so 2021, so that would take us to potentially 2024. Depending on what's going on, we may have to apply for an extension, or we may end up coming earlier. There's so much going on with NP education right now that we really need to put our minds together and think through how we want to make this new NP 2.0 look. So I'm sorry that my answer isn't very specific, but I would look to probably 2024. Do you find it is advantageous for students to have prior research experience before taking the thesis-based program? If so, how can undergrad students get involved in research? There are so many of our thesis students that come in with absolutely no experience at all, so it is absolutely not a prerequisite. Having said that, as an undergraduate student, there are opportunities to volunteer in professors' research labs. That might be done through the Nursing Research Office. Another opportunity, if you're at an undergrad at UCalgary right now, there are summer research experiences that you can apply for as well. I would encourage you to get in touch with Mark Hall at the Nursing Research Office in the Faculty of Nursing and see if he can direct you to particular professors who are looking for summer students, for example. Do you have to have a Master of Nursing to be a nursing instructor? To be in a tenured track nursing instructor, yes, you do. Instructors are hired as sessional instructors to teach clinically from time to time, and they often don't have master's degrees, but having a master's degree certainly gives much more opportunity within the Faculty of Nursing for sure. Start the MN-MBA program this fall. Do you have to do the GMAT this year, or no? Everything has to be done up front. Now, one of the things we're suggesting too is, given that we have leadership for healthcare, the leadership certificate, as well as the healthcare innovation and design certificate, we're finding that some students are actually looking at that a little more seriously than the MN-MBA, particularly if they have a sight to perhaps move on to the doctorate in nursing programs. So just a little thought for you. How often are instructors typically available for questions while doing the online courses? Very much available. We're here for you. This is not a one-off thing. I was conversing with one of our instructors just the other day, and there was a concern over a new assignment that had been offered, and she was telling me that she'd had 20 one-on-one conversations with students over the last week in order to help people understand the assignment and so on. And of course, given that kind of feedback, they made some modifications and so on. But no, we're very engaged. We are inviting you to this party at the Faculty of Nursing, and we want to make sure you have a good time and that you feel that you've been served well by us. There's something about, does stretching it out over time allow for a more flexible schedule? I don't know if this is for the MN program. The certificates can only be done over the 1 year. There's no flexibility in that particularly. If you did 1 or 2 and for some reason you had to leave, we serve a lot of women in our faculty, so we're just, it's not surprising for us if family things or pregnancies or what all happen. So what you would do is finish the courses that you have and then move over maybe the next year and pick it up. But we do like to see people finish all 4 courses and earn that certificate in only 1 year.
Sorry to interrupt, but they're actually asking about thesis in particular.
Then I'm just getting to that. The thesis route, you can stretch it out a little bit more, but don't forget, there is a time limit of 4 years. So it does matter to get moving. We have dropped the number of courses that our thesis students have to take substantially. So we really hope that you'd be able to get them done in at least the first 2 years and then move on and get the thesis work done after that. I'm graduating this year from a 4-year nursing school. Do you recommend or require more years of RN experience before applying for a master's? That's a super question. At one time, we required 3 years experience, 5 years experience before entering a master's degree. We now have students that come right through. Now, it's not always easy for them because there are students also in the class that are more mature, that have lots of experience, but they're still doing okay. They're still thriving, but it is a choice that has some strengths to it and some limitations to it. The other thing is we have a very aging professoriate in Canada. It's a well-known issue, and if we put our baby nurses out there and they never get back to us, we are really going to have a time trying to get our professoriate ranks filled up again. So there is the odd person that will go right from baccalaureate to master's thesis and then into PhD. And in fact, we even have a fast track from master's thesis to PhD program for absolutely exceptional students. So, talk to us, call us up, talk to us about that. If you have that kind of desire, we're happy to help you and think about it. I'm very accessible also, so shoot me an email. Talk to Chen Wei first, though, if you want. She's extraordinarily helpful in our graduate office. What is the first step in applying for the certificates? Oh, Chen Wei, this is yours.
Okay, so just send me an email, nursegrad@ucalgary.ca. I will give you a detailed instruction.
It's not an onerous application, right, Chen Wei?
Yeah, it's a very easy application, and I will let you know where to log in and how to create an application and which program you need to choose.
Yeah. I'm currently UC nursing program, which is a BN degree. Would you recommend getting a BSCN before the NP program, or is a BN fine? No, I would not recommend that you worry about that at all. BN, BSCN is all good. Will you be resuming face-to-face residency for the fall 2021 or continue online? We don't know. We haven't been given direction. I will say, though, that one thing that is very important that we do is that we make sure that our courses are accessible to everyone. And we know that we have students we have students who have immunodeficiency themselves or someone at home. We have students that have children who need to be homeschooled, and the list just goes on and on. So at minimum, we will make sure that we will have everything available online for the thesis-based program. And as Chen Wei just pointed out, all of the residencies are going to be online this fall. That's all been organized just to keep things organized. If your grade is lower than a C in statistics, where would you recommend taking that course? Well, it depends on where you live. We often refer students to Math 215 at Athabasca because it's quite flexible. Chen Wei, do you have any other recommendations?
Sorry, I was typing the answer for the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have any other recommendations other than Athabasca for students to take a statistics course if they have lower than a C grade?
They actually can take a stats course at U Calgary. So,
great.
So far, like I think the spring course is all online as well. So you can take stats 211 or stats 205 at U Calgary.
Okay, so there's lots of possibilities of where you can go. Someone is just asking, can you talk a little bit about the 5, soon to be 7 graduate certificate? What is the content like? Well, I'll start generally, and if I'm not catching what you need, let me know. Basically, they build on each other. So the first course of all of the certificates tends to be a little bit more theoretical, a little more advanced practice kind of focus. And then as they build, it becomes more and more applied. The first 3 courses in each certificate is graded. The students get a letter grade at the end. But the 4th course in all of them is a credit fail. And the reason why that is because it's such an iterative process that often in these certificates, there's either a group project or some kind of output that just really isn't amenable to a 81 or an 83. So it's done that way. So it just sort of stacks up even within the certificate itself. I'm going to leave it at that. And if you still have more questions, just shoot them my way. Is there a list of supervisors accepting graduate students? Not particularly, but what I'd encourage you to do is take a look at our website and take a look at all of the supervisors that are potentially available to you. Usually the supervisors, you want to marry your interests with what the supervisor might be interested in. You may want to marry your interest methodologically, even if you have some thoughts around that with the supervisor. And all of us have some keywords associated with what it is that we do. If you have any questions after that, certainly Chen Wei and you know, the graduate office can be of help, and I can too if you're still wondering. You know, we have assistant professors, a few that are really new, and we have others that are older like me, that have been around a while too, and we all offer something a little bit different to the equation in a good way. So that's probably the best place to get started. For someone who is internationally educated but has registration with CARNA, will my transcript from another country need to be translated into GPA format? I don't believe it does. I think that the certificate, the transcript just needs to come to the University of Calgary, and the translation piece happens at the Faculty of Graduate Studies level. That's correct, right, Chenwei?
So FGS has a list of university how we can calculate your GPA, and some universities we just accept second divisions, like second honor, first divisions. So don't worry about that. We will take care of the GPA.
Just the big thing is just apply. Let us work with you. Would it be advisable to do a thesis-based program while working full-time? People do it all the time. You may want to take a little bit longer than the 2 and a bit years, and maybe go a little bit slower, but we'll work with you on that for sure, for sure. Yeah, there is the question is there a list of thesis supervisors accepting graduate students? As I was saying, there are people identified on our website that have supervisory capacity, so don't hesitate to take a look at that. We don't necessarily advertise that, you know, I'm taking graduate students. So generally what happens for the master's program is that we accept we want your application, we hopefully accept you into the program, and then we try and match you with a supervisor after the acceptance. In some sciences and other areas, it's kind of opposite. You find a supervisor first and then make the application. That's what's done in our PhD program right now. But typically in the thesis program, we match you with someone after you've been accepted. That doesn't mean that you can't go online and take a look and see who's there and what opportunities there might be, and even say, I'd really like to work with these people, but that's typically the process. What are the expectations for the thesis application essay? Are you looking for current research to be cited, or is it's actually just a very general longer statement about what interests you and what you'd like to research, what would be your topic and why. If you have some methodological ideas about what that might look like, even if it's just qualitatively or quantitatively, that also gives us a hint of maybe who might be a really good supervisory situation for you. So don't be too concerned about the essay, but yeah, get a little bit of background, generally a little bit of background about you, what brought you to this kind of topic, maybe a little bit of literature in there. There isn't a lot of room for references, so we're not looking for long reference lists, but yeah, just start. If you find you're having trouble with it and you have any questions at all, Chenwei can direct you to me at any time. I'm interested in the leadership certificate. When is the next course start date, and when do applications need to be in by? Chenwei, stop me if I'm incorrect here, but I think our leadership certificate is already full for the fall. Is that true?
Yes, and we have a quite long wait list.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Knowing that, I've been speaking with the people who teach in that, and we're, you know, if we have enough interest in it, we may open up another section of it. So stay tuned. If you're thinking about taking the certificate and then another certificate at another time, please apply. You may get into this other certificate now, and you'll be on that waiting list for next year. So already having kind of applied for it, but just apply. We're really anxious to work with applicants. Which stream would you recommend for a rural public health nurse who specializes in breastfeeding? Yeah. So I think you're talking about the probably the course-based stream if you're with this kind of question. The course-based stream, you may want to look at teaching and learning. You may want to look at leadership or innovation in healthcare systems. So it might not be a bad fit for you, but the other potential is that you might also thrive in a thesis program where you could really focus in on your topic and your area and really do something special with that. Which certificates still have spaces open? I think all of them but the leadership at this moment. But like I said, if we have a long list for leadership, we are considering adding another section to it. Chenwei, is that true?
Yeah,
Chenwei?
but I think we have 2 more streams coming up. So we might have opportunity to have some leadership student like move to the new streams.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility. So just put your application in first, and then we will do the background work and let you know if a spot is open for you.
So look, here's the thing. We're also aware that there's an application fee. So when we're saying, oh, just put your application in, all will be well. If you have questions that you want to ask and have them answered before you make your application, do not hesitate to contact us. We will find an answer for you. It's our job. Is a certificate program flexible enough to allow a new parent who's also a night nurse to work part-time? I believe it is. We have some amazing students in our certificate programs that have many different pulls on them. And our instructors are really interested in knowing not all your personal details, but knowing what it is that makes you tick and what may constrain you or help you in your work. So we're willing to work with you. We really are. So I would say go for it. When will the NP program resume, and would the certificates be helpful for that program? I don't know when the NP program is going to resume. It could be as late as 2024 or even later if that happens. It could be earlier, but I don't think so. Would the certificates be helpful? Any learning is good, but the certificates can't be used as part of the NP program. So basically, well, just a minute, let me think about this again. What we're planning for NP 2.0 is that all students enter the direct entry like a thesis student would take 5 courses within a year and then move on to the NP piece of their education. In the past, we've had a nurse practitioner postmaster's certificate where people who have previously earned a master's degree have come in and just done the NP part. The preference always has been, though, for the last probably 15 years, has been for MN and NP all at the same time. So I think you're better off to just come directly in if NP is really what you want. Are references required for the graduate certificates? I don't think so. Chenwei, they're not, are they? I don't remember seeing them.
No reference is required for the certificate program.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that, Kathy. No more questions.
Well, not there, but there's 9 chats here. So let's just see if we've missed anything here.
I think we're good. Chenwei and I've been looking at those. And moving.
Okay. Yeah, we did the start date. Okay.
I think we're good.
Are we? Does anyone have any other question or anything more that we can offer? Will graduates of the thesis-based program have a benefit to enter into NP? I wouldn't say so. They wouldn't be put ahead, for example, of other students. And in fact, as I was just alluding to, the NP that we're looking at, the structure for the new program when it comes out, which, as I'm saying, is a long time away. It would be them entering the core that we're calling it, those 5 courses, and then moving on into the NP. I can't see finishing a thesis as being helpful for that role. Oh, somebody's starting to think about a thesis-based program. Yahoo! Call us anytime. I have a real bias. I mean, I love the course-based program, and I think it's just serving such an interesting place in nursing education. But I also really love the thesis program too. My career has been in research for many years, and before coming into this program, so I do have a little bias in that way. So ask questions anytime. If you are a nursing U of C nursing student, do you have a greater chance of getting admission to the MN or NP program? No. No, the answer is no to that. You may find once you get in that things are more recognizable and that you feel more comfortable, but there's no preference to you Calgary students. I'm passionate about palliative care and would be very interested to engage in a research project. Then do it. Come into the thesis program. Focus on palliative care. We have some great faculty members that have expertise in this area, and they would love to meet you.
Okay, anything else? I think one last chance. You answered 37 questions. Well done. That's great. It's so wonderful to see people asking so many questions. Really helpful. Yeah, very helpful.
For sure, for sure. Well, look, we hope you choose the University of Calgary. We look very forward to receiving any more questions that you have. We look forward to receiving your applications and seeing you in our programs.
Thanks, everyone. And again, if you have any follow-up questions, please send them to nursegrad@ucalgary.ca. The email is on there, but you'll also have it on your the email you received for when you registered to the information session. And we will send out the recording in probably early next week, I would imagine. Thank you all for coming.
And if you feel like you want to speak with me again, believe me, the people in the graduate office are pristine. But if there's something that you think that I can address, please just ask that the email be sent along, and I'm happy to help. Bye, people. Thanks so much for coming today.